Hi, and welcome to Good News Glynn. Today we're going to be speaking with a very knowledgeable art connoisseur and the director of the Left Bank Art Gallery. Please welcome Millie Wilcox.
Hello, Avery. How are you? It is so nice to see you after all these years when you lived right next door to me. And I never got to see you much because you were always going out places to dances and so forth, and it's a pleasure to have you here.
Well, thank you for having us. This is wonderful. What a treat to be with you and all these paintings. We're in Millie's home. We are surrounded by these beautiful art paintings, oils everywhere, and they're just gorgeous. And we're going to talk to her today about art. How did you get started in the art business?
Well, aside from having a mother that painted like you do, when I was like 4 or 5 years old, Mother taught art in our home, and she, believe it or not, she painted more like Jackson Pollock than she does now of this type of painting of Monet's garden, more pastel colors and all. But that was one reason. And then I worked for a company in New York, Eleanor Garnett, where I was in the fashion business when I was about 21 years old. And I have a couple of fashion pictures if you want to look at them. But
I would love to look at them. Can you see this, Brent?
This was when I lived in Rome, Italy, and for Madame Garnett, who was really a Russian couturier. And I got to learn to select all the fabric from the fabric silkmen from Lyon, France would come, and I graduated to where she would let me pick out all the fabric, and I learned so much about color there. And that really helped me it was stimulating, and it made me want to get into the art business more. And aside from, I went with an Italian man, a gentleman from Genoa, and his friend was Picasso and Cocteau. And I had lunch with them one day, and I wasn't as impressed with Picasso as I should have been at that early age because, you know, you're sort of self-centered.
Right.
I wish I had been.
Right. You didn't realize who that was exactly.
I knew who he was, and the funny thing, they all kept their paintings in the trunk of the Chevrolet car. They had no insurance on them then, and that's where they kept all these expensive paintings. But it was an interesting experience for me, living there and learning about art.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that is quite a beginning, isn't it? That was, you were just right in there. Tell us about this.
That painting was done in the studio. I can't remember the couturier's name, but this was done in New York City, and it was not Ralph Lauren, but it was somebody comparable to that in his work. And this was a time I was working as a fashion model in New York also.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
It was a fun experience.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Here's another one. Can we show this one too?
It's been a long time, Avery. It's over 50 years, so I'm not sure where these people, you know, we always had beautiful locations with the clothes and all from a couturier and in somebody's famous home.
Wow.
That's where they did it. So,
it's sort of Audrey Hepburn, isn't it?
It is a little bit. It was the 50s. You're right.
Right. This is the style.
When she did Roman Holiday, it was that period.
Let's see. One more here.
You're the first person I've shown these to, except my brother and Valerie Hepburn. Got to see them one time when they did a bit on me.
What a treat.
I've had them just upstairs.
Well, we are very honored that you've allowed us to see some of these beautiful old photographs.
He didn't know my late husband well, but he kept one of them up because he was scared I was going to gain weight. And so he would keep it always up in his dressing room to remind me. He said, you better go on that diet now. You don't look like that picture. But,
well, that is inspiration.
But I came to here to live, visit mother and my father, and they had sold their house in Albany. So this became my home, and met my husband from New York, and he decided he wanted to run the gallery with me. So we took that over and we started the Left Bank that Mother had started, but we catered more now to the French influence in the art world and American, but Bob spoke fluent French, my late husband, and so I thought, my goodness, with that knowledge, that'll be wonderful. So he was able to get all these wonderful artists for us, like Artisan right back of me here. This one is one of hers, and because he could speak the French, and most of our artists spoke no English, so it was wonderful to have him do all this and do the bookkeeping and everything. I wish he still was here doing it. I really miss him as a partner.
I'm sure.
Right, and as a friend and a husband.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we had a wonderful time together. And went to France twice a year for 25 years. Can you believe it?
Wow,
Bringing
25
these pictures back.
years.
Right.
So you would you knew local artists in France would bring them to the gallery.
They would come, and some of them would come over. I think we've had about 5 or 6 who actually would come and visit us. And the funniest part, they would never go anywhere else in the United States. They would just come to St. Simon's Island. You know, it's interesting, isn't it?
It is.
They would come all the way to this country, but they didn't speak the language, so they were very they were timid a little bit, so we looked after them and had a good time with them.
I bet they thought it was beautiful.
They loved it. They loved it. And I'll show you my view later on, and they love sitting out on that porch that you'll see in a little bit.
We'll go out and see the beautiful view in a little while.
Good.
So do you still have international
I do,
art?
20 years ago for a collection that named Andre Derain, and this is his picture right here. And his work is in the Louvre and in the d'Orsay Museum. And his period was a fauve period, which I like a lot. This happens not to be a fauve painting, but it's his period. I mean, it's by him, it's his niece, Geneviève. And this was wonderful for me to study about and learn all about the fauves. I think when you own something, it makes you go delve into it deeply.
Right.
And he put it in this catalog raisonné.
Okay.
I mean, the man, Mr. Kellerman, put it in here, promised me that he would after I had it authenticated. So I was real thrilled that it's in there.
Yes.
So, great.
That's wonderful. Do you want to?
I'll open the book.
Yeah.
It's just a small picture.
Okay.
You're going to be surprised at how small it is.
Yeah.
It is in here, right there. That's my little picture.
Okay. Let's see, let me just hold this
Good.
up.
I love catalog raisonnés. I love the whole experience of collecting and having the book and everything about artists.
There it is.
Good. Great.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, always good if you're collecting some art to have as much documentation as you can. And then this painting here is by Guy Wiggins. And this was a gift to me from my mother-in-law, Virginia Wilcox. And his work is in the Metropolitan Museum. And I like it a lot. I love the rain. He painted Washington Square and all around that in the rain, and snow that he was known for.
Yeah. Beautiful, very different.
It's been interesting living here and collecting some art. Bob had a theory about collecting art. He said we could either have a good gallery or a good private collection, and he didn't want me to take any of the paintings that we got to have at home in our collection. Everything had to go to the gallery.
Oh.
But since he passed away, I hate to tell you, I have collected so much art. You went in my powder room. I have 80 paintings in there.
Oh my gosh.
And they're sort of under the bed and everywhere. And so now I'm putting some back for sale in the gallery now.
Well, you have quite an inventory. I don't know how you keep up with all of that.
I have a friend who put it all on the computer, and we've got it all, everything's done right about it.
Tell me about your mother and her art and the museum, a little bit about that.
Thank you for asking about that. That was after she passed away in 2000. Something just came to me. Well, one thing, I had so many things and so many of her paintings that I had collected that she really didn't know that I even had, but I had secretly sort of collected them because Mother wanted to have, she wanted to have her work, other people have them. I don't think she would have really wanted me to collect them, but I did. And it just seemed to me, all of a sudden, the idea about a week after she'd passed away, I thought, I'm going to make this a museum. And it just came, the whole thing came, and I got it all put together within about 2 weeks to a month.
Oh my gosh.
It just, it flowed how you have something that flows like that. And I have mostly her work in it. I have people that helped her start the gallery. And the mural, a large mural of St. Simon's Island with all the plantations on it.
Oh, wow. Well, when we come back, we're going to stand up and look around at some of these beautiful paintings, and she's going to describe the style of some of these French Impressionistic paintings. So join us in a moment when we'll be right back with more Good News Glynn. Tell me about this beautiful painting.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. This painting I love. I got this about 10 years ago, I think, in New York from an artist named Millie. And I loved it, and believe it or not, a lot of people ask me if I copied the room from this painting, but I already had all this furniture in here, and it does look a little like the room that I have.
It does. It's gorgeous.
It's very realistic, and I think it's a very cozy painting. And there seemed to be, the reason I have it is I got it for the gallery. I had got 4 of his paintings, and they told me this one has a little tear in it right there where somebody slid it. And it seems that 2 people in the back room in New York at this big, huge gallery had a fight, and a knife went in it.
Oh no.
And I didn't know anything about it till I got it home, and then I thought, well, I can't sell it now, so I got to keep it. So,
oh gosh.
So that's the story, and I don't have no idea what they were fighting about, but I thought that was a strange anecdote.
That's funny. Well, it's beautiful. Let's talk about this one.
And this painting is by an artist from Korea named Young Il-an, and we got this painting about 25, 30 years ago. We bought about 8 of his paintings, and I love this painting. The colors, it's semi-abstract, but it's muted, and it's just, I have more people who are art collectors that love this painting and want it than I do of any other.
Yeah.
Might not be quite your style, but it's the colors are beautiful, aren't they?
They're beautiful. I was going to say, abstract is probably not my first choice, but this I love.
Good, I do
so,
too.
you know, it depends.
I wish now I had gotten more. That I wish I'd kept more, but I didn't.
Very pretty. I love the colors.
I do too. Wouldn't it be pretty to have a dress out of this?
It
do a
would
room
be.
around. This painting, this is of the Cloister Hotel where my mother painted so often. She and I did this painting together. We painted some together. I forgot to tell you that after she became a little older and she had trouble with her eyesight. So
right.
I love this. This is the Cloister Courtyard. And
That's
I just
beautiful.
love the colors, the way that one turned out, with both of us painting on it.
I'm so glad you have that because, you know, they tore the cloister down, as everyone knows, and it's beautiful, but it's so nice to remember the way it was.
It is, and it's romantic also
It
to me.
is
I sort of like romantic paintings.
Right. I've been in Paris during,
Have you?
Yes.
Wonderful.
That was my...
Well, let's go back.
We should.
Good. I'd love to go with
I didn't collect any art while I was there, though. I should have. Now, what is the style? What would you call that?
Well, his is more Fauvist, the style that I told you about. He liked the Fauves, Vlaminck, Matisse, and all those people. He liked those. And his work is a little bit flamboyant, but it's filled with life and vigor. That's why I like his work so much.
Right, it is. Very colorful and vibrant.
And he's an interesting man. He wears a white suit all the time, like a white house painter suit, all over everywhere. And he has a long flowing beard and a cape. So he's quite dramatic.
Well, thank you. When we come
welcome.
back, Millie has also been involved in the community for years. She's been in the art business for over 40 years, but she's also been involved with the community right here in Glynn County and really being a positive person in the Golden Isles. When we come back, we're going to speak with her about that. So join us in a moment.
Thank you, Avery.
Hi, and welcome back to Good News Glynn. We're here with Millie Wilcox, and she's going to be talking with us about her community service and how she's been involved with the community. We've been talking to her about her art, and she has been involved with art for over 40 years, but now we're going to hear what she's done in the community. Tell us about that.
Well, for some reason, when I first moved here, I just loved community projects and being involved in the community. I liked it when I lived in Albany, and believe it or not, I even did it in New York City.
Oh, wow.
People couldn't believe it, but I did. I joined the Rotary Club there.
Great.
And I'm a member of the Rotary Club here. But as for civic activities, the St. Simon's Island Chamber of Commerce that we used to have, that was one of my biggest thrills when I had that I can remember exactly. Gordon Strother and Bill Jones and Tommy Bryan, Don Hogan called me on this phone early one morning, and no, at night I think it was, and said, we want you to be president of the St. Simon's Island Chamber.
What an honor.
And I just can remember that with these young men, because then women weren't really involved in
What year was that? You know?
I think it's about 40 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe that's a long time.
No, it is a long time.
Someone said the other day, Avery said, you know, you have history now. And I thought, I don't know whether I like that remark or not. But anyhow, it's all right. And they're still all good friends, all those men. And then another wonderful thing, when we combined forces with the Brunswick Chamber, and I worked with Woody Woodside a lot, and they surprised me by honoring me with this A.W. Jones Award one night. And it was really a surprise. I started not to even go. It was going to be on Jekyll Island because I had some bronchitis or something, and so they had all kind of people saying, "Oh no, you got to get her to get there," you know. And I was really surprised.
Can I just read what it says? The award says for dedicated leadership and outstanding service to Brunswick and the Golden Isles. So that is...
It was the A.W. Jones Award.
It was A.W. Jones Senior Award. What a special honor.
It was. And then another honor, I'm just telling you sort of the highlights, if you want to know about that, of what I consider was when Sea Island honored me with a little plaque about the contribution I made in the arts to them. And it's when Bill Jones was head of it, and it was a wonderful time. And then the College of Coastal Georgia, I've enjoyed knowing Valerie Hepburn, our president, so much, and she named the museum of the gallery at the college for Mother and me. And that was wonderful. Those were surprises, and I love surprises.
Oh, good.
I really do, and they kept it, all kept it very well.
That's great. What a huge honor that is,
and
too.
So I'm not as involved in all of those things now, and it's okay. I'm learning how not to be involved. I'm trying to do some other things. Swimming more. Good. And I'm going to paint a little more.
Nice. Yeah.
And I'm not sure what else yet. Get into a little trouble if I can. I mentioned one other thing that I forgot to say that's really important. I work with Heather Heath at Golden House Arts and Humanity. I was president of that organization for a while, and I enjoyed that very much, and the Glynn Art Association and the Symphony.
Wow.
So there's really so much to do in this area culturally. If somebody wants to, they certainly can find things to do, can't they?
Definitely, definitely, yes. We're thrilled about all of the work that you've done, and we so appreciate it.
Well, I've enjoyed, now I'm enjoying sharing it.
Yes, now you can talk about it.
You can talk about it and you can share it.
We can share it, that's right.
Wonderful.
When we come back, we're going to go onto the porch and see her beautiful view and talk a little bit more about her paintings. See you in a moment. Welcome back to Good News Glynn. Today we're with Millie Wilcox, and we're going to talk about some of her own art that she did. This is her painting. Tell us about this.
I think you'd be interested in this because it's a wonderful avocation for me. I have some buddies who like to paint on my front porch, and that's Jim Jones and Bill Jones and Jim Bishop. And we all paint together sometimes. And this is one I did on the front porch with Jim Bishop.
Very
and I
nice.
loved it. I started it one afternoon and completed it. And I don't only paint about 3 paintings a year. I don't paint
Is
a
this
lot.
the view?
That's my view of the marsh.
And this is Sea Island.
That's Sea Island, there. And I put little jewels in it.